So theology is something like it's not just like um, your perspective on mundane stuff, So it takes a long time to develop. It's or I mean, let's say if you start off, you're a child, right? You don't really have a theology like Santa Claus. That's not a theology. Like, at what point could it be good or bad theology, and what? How does that happen? Because when something happens, or that's explained or shown that corrects my theology or clarifies it, you could become susceptible, I guess, at that moment, or to sensationalism, and even too much, like to not really process it, but to offer it up, to like say, hey, look, like, check this out, what I just learned, but I haven't really metabolized or something. Then you kind of rub the corners off, and it can become semantics, and that's a trip, because semantics is useful to having a consistent, understanding, like the mundane things, like where you really mean, like what you're really trying to say, like different words, like, so you have a theology and a worldview, and just a common repertoire or vernacular that has to be like, okay, so we know what you mean. So semantics is useful just to knowing what you mean. So making a semantical argument, what happens when, because it's bad. I mean, it's like, let's say, it's because you can only take a little bit, like you can't really take too much, like, and just to get it all like that, because it's I mean, you can spend your whole life learning about this stuff. So what is it about when it's not a good thing, like to make a semantic argument? Because people are having trouble or issues with a semantic aspect, or semantic, like aspect to their theology, and they don't know it's like a word sound fallacy. So sometimes it's not even just word sound fallacies. It's like they have a precognition of what a word is supposed to mean, so it's bad, it's terrible. Where it's just like, it's not for everybody, but it's not a bad thing. It's like some people can practice apologetics, right? Where it's like, what the hell is that? Like, if you don't know anything with it, that's just disgusting, right? And what was the other one? It's like another thing that's like a facet of someone who's like has their intellect is functioning for you to be able to do it, but it's like the connotation, or the words sound like, is like something that people today think that you are it's just like a failing or something, weak. What is it? So because you really have to know about, like, when you get into a certain level of, I think it's because they're talking about lineages and stuff. and using words that not without knowing where they came from. So when you have a theology that uses the word that came from a different, like it's like system, they're mystery systems, like alphabet, you know, like we always say this, alphabet is like spells and stuff. We always say that, like, you know, it's like it's a deity and a marriage with numerology, and we come up with letters, right? Which is like characters with like angles. They have to be so many degrees away from, or and like have to be so many different representations of the same angle within it as it supposed to, so it's like a deified numerology, numeral character, a characters. So you can spell words. So I mean, I'm not trying to demonize it. Maybe I went through a lot to figure out why I appreciate the language. Not everybody has to learn hard, like way, you know, what ways and why it spells, you know, why your tongue is powerful. Like you can speak like it's a double-edged sword. So you can like manifest some things through just by speaking. You know, I mean, I might have started this video, not this video, but the channel, because I thought I was going a little cray-cray or something, but I actually was, so I wasn't wrong. So I owed it to myself, so I was right. But like, you can still never, you know, complete factory settings, you know, like you can never go back to the factory setting. You can't even be knowing, like people don't even want to admit shit that's traumatized them, you know, like it's like they can't see it as that, because they're like, man, I walked over drunk people all the time, you know, passed out on the sidewalk, you know, a little bit, something like on their cheeks, something like they'll be like, that shit ain't traumatized me.